Hi guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being a music journalism site, links are in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Train, and that's Drink Up. I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. Now, Train are one of those few groups that have been around for a long time now, making at least one charting hit per year, who I still feel are a group that are very much hit and miss. They are an odd entity really, because they pop out of nowhere every now and then with some colossal radio-friendly tune, and things then go quiet for yet another year. They do pop up, it does feel like once a year, if I'm totally honest. However, as you now know, they've released this brand new track, and you're probably waiting to see what I thought of it. So what did I think of it? I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's certainly better than your average pop track, I will admit that, but it's very, very cheesy in my personal opinion. I like the incorporation of the funk elements, driving bass lines, and even the gang vocals, but the lyrical content is kind of cringeworthy. I know a lot of people don't like using the word cringe anymore, but I will say it here, it's kind of cringeworthy. I did feel that the instrumentals were much better than the vocals throughout the song, as they seemed a little bit more exploratory, and the basic themes that were being expressed through said vocals were just not up my alley really. Production-wise, the song is actually fairly solid. I think a highlight for me has to be that bass tone, as when it cuts in on that second chorus, it just sounds wholesome, thick and powerful, everything you'd want it to sound. It almost sounded like your typical alternative rock setup, but it worked very, very well for me. It worked well on a pop track, which is kind of surprising. I think the guitar possesses a fantastic clean tone, one which is both capable of being frenetically strummed, as well as being gently plucked as well, whilst still keeping like a degree of clarity and depth to it, which is quite impressive really. I did think the mastering could do with some tweaking, as the bass sounded much louder than the guitar, and to be honest, even the ambient synths drowned out the guitar as well, as it was left very much in the background. I do like my guitar to be prioritised and to be pushed into the foreground at least once per track, otherwise you're just adding timbres in the distance, which is just no good really. The gang vocals sounded pretty solid too, but they did seem a little too clean, simply due to being overgated, and again it just sort of added to the background, and it was more just filling up the stereo field rather than actually adding too much in the terms of just being in the foreground and being in your face. The rest of the vocals sounded strong, and it was nice to hear a pop voice that isn't too tampered with as well. I think that's a huge, basically a compliment really from my end. Moving on to the musicality, I must admit the song is a bit of a mixed bag overall. It starts off pretty slow in the intro, sounding like your typical Radio Train hit, and for me it kind of handicaps the track for the first minute or so, but once that simplistic yet punchy bass line kicks in, however, things do start to get moving, and moving pretty quickly as well. I thought the guitar worked best when the chords were being played in a funk fashion, as it added a little dance element to it, just gave it some more dimensions. But for me though, we have to talk about the vocals. They are the main talking point of this track. Even though there are some notes which I enjoyed and a couple syllables that were dramatized in an interesting manner, I just felt the overall vocal performance was very bland and safe. The melody is also a little predictable as well, which it often is with train tracks. So yeah, funny pun there. I mean train songs, let's go with that. The gang vocals don't really harmonise, but instead just fill the stereo field, as I've already mentioned, and I just felt the chorus was a little lazy in general. I'm all for simplistic hooks, but that just seemed a little too cliche for me. Lyrically is where the track really suffers though, as it's just a little too mundane. The whole drink and last forever gimmick has been done into the ground by this point, as we all know, and I mean the guys are pushing 50 at this point, and this gave me some really nasty flashbacks to when Madonna tried to steal this sound, this contemporary sound, about 2 years ago, when she's like, what is she like, she must be in her mid-50s now, don't quote me on that though. I just think that they have to mature a little with their lyrical themes, as they just seemed very plastic and temporary, and the tracks, you know, they are catchy, but they just lack that substance. I felt this way about Train for the last 5 years or so, perhaps even longer, that they just make songs that are catchy for the moment and they sound fine when put on the radio, but they've just got nothing to really bring you back. They haven't got that much like replayability factor. So all in all, I do insist that this pop track is better than the average release in the pop genre, but for me it was just a little too corny and basic to really get me smiling. So I gave it a G rating of 5.5 out of 10, which is above average, so that's fair enough. If you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.